live and virtual events, real estate seminar events since 2010. I have a book out on Amazon published, Become a Big Star in Event Planning, that you can get. I worked with some of the top business and real estate influencers in the country, including Raising Capital, Brad Blazer that just spoke, Dave Seymour, Bill Walsh, Linda Plagas from Realty Forum Magazine, and Expo. As you can see, the Maverick Millionaire, the CEO of Power Team International. One of the things is I actually met Linda, and I'll give you a little background story in that, because I got into this game totally by accident. I went to the second Las Vegas Real Estate Insiders Club meeting in 2010, and the guy Glenn Plantone was stepping down. I volunteered to take over the group. From there, I evolved it into my own. I started producing seminar events with people like Maverick Millionaire, Paul Fink. In 2012, I met Linda Plagas, the owner of Realty Forum Magazine, because I met a contact of mine in Vegas, Kylie Hatch. Kylie introduced me to Linda. I was already heading to San Diego, California with Mark Called, which ran an REIA group called Outback at that time. And I went to Linda's one day LA Expo, and I attended her event. I got to meet her and develop a relationship. That led us to do 6 real estate expos, and we continue to collaborate to this day on virtual and live events. Then I had the blessing to meet this gentleman, Bill Walsh, in 2014 from Power Team International at Michael Lafferty's Econo Summit. And for 4 years, I ran Power Team International's events, and that includes the wealth camps and the major corporate events. And then in 2018, I founded the High Performance Estimate with the goal of helping small business owners and entrepreneurs create more wealth in their businesses. And I've also founded my own event coaching, came on my first book last year, Become Big Star in Event Planning. Personally, I've lost over 160 pounds of weight in 2 years with small dietary changes and walking. So I've transformed my health physically during this pandemic, which is a milestone. But what we're going to cover today is a couple key points: how to keep your events on budget, speaker selection strategies, and how to fill your events. Now, how to keep your events on budget. I know this is not a sexy thing, but it is sexy when it saves you money. Here are some tips with that. One, you want to learn when you're starting out or you don't have a lot of budget. The good thing is the venue sponsor strategy. There's companies that have training rooms, and those training rooms you can use those training rooms if you can make the right deal with that company. So say you have an audience, you want to host an event, and you give that company a couple minutes to speak at that event. Then they'll lend you have their training room for a free or lower cost as long as there's value. Maybe you interview them on a virtual summit a couple of times and then have your audience come out to a live event at their facility. You let them have a table and vendor table. You promote them to your list, and you under promise and over deliver them, because what happens is you're building that relationship with that company. It's saving you thousands of dollars of hotel fees, especially when you're first starting out or you don't have a lot of budget. That can save you a lot of money. And it's a great way as you're growing your community. They're getting the benefit of getting a friend, the ideal customers and clients. That's why you want to ask them what are their goals and objectives so you can help them achieve that in a greater way. And this will save you money when it comes to the venue sponsor strategy. I've used this a lot, especially in the Las Vegas, Nevada market. And I was paying free to $200 to host these events and some seminar events where I would have been paying thousands of dollars in hotels, which is a big savings on that. Now, when you're booking events or hotels, this is what you want to look at. You want to find out what are their slowest days, because that's where you're going to save the most money. They're going to have the most wiggle room, because some of these hotels have really got hurt in the pandemic. And what happens is you can get a low rate for them because of that. You can get a low rate on the slower days that are not as busy. So you can book the meeting space and get a better price. You also want to find out from the AV perspective, can you bring your own AV? Because some hotels will not allow you to bring your own AV, and you have to pay the AV person to pay to use the equipment and pay the AV person, because some hotels are union and non-union, and those rules are a little bit different. So I tend to like to use non-union shops, because that will save you money if you can bring your own AV rather than paying the hotel, and you need to make that decision as far as that. And that's another thing too. One of the things you want to look at too is with events and keep it on budget. Do you have a way? Can you bring in outside food? Can you bring, like, if you're going to have an event and you don't want to pay like $30 for lunch box, does the hotel allow you to bring in outside food? Some hotels will, some will not. So you need to know that, because it can make a big difference, especially if the hotel's restaurant's not open during lunch, that could be a big thing for you because it can affect your budget. Because if during the lunch break, you want to make sure that every guest stays in the facility, so you get them back for the second half of the live event, which is really important. So you want to take some of these tips to keep your events on budget. So one of those things is, like I said, the venue sponsor strategy is a great way to do that. With the venue sponsor strategy, you can get training rooms at low cost, and that will save you money. Hotels, negotiating on the days that they're slowest. Asking if you can get discounts on sleeping rooms or AV. Doing comparative quotes. Get 5 or 6 quotes from different hotels in the area and have them compete for the business, because that will drive down the price for you, and you'll be able to get a better deal from that hotel. And as a result, you won't pay as much up front. Even try to structure your AV or some of the other costs of the back end if you know you're selling from stage, because that gives you the room to put that dollars into marketing, which can be really critical for what you want to do. So you want to save that. Owning your own AV is another great way to save money, because you can bring your own AV equipment instead of using the hotels. And because that will save you some budget money, as long as you got to be sure the hotel will allow that. So that's some great ways to save money when it comes to events. One of the things you want to think is speaker selection strategies and how to book big thought leaders. Like you said, we have Dave Seymour on today. He's a big thought leader. And how you get those big thought leaders is through relationship building. And one of the things is building relationships will help you book some really great speakers. Like I got Dave Seymour through Linda Plagas, which I've known for 10 or 12 years. I've known Brad for a few years. I've known Paul for a few years. But one of the things you want to ask yourself is just selecting your speakers is, what is your audience for your event? What is the target audience for your event? What is the product or service that they're offering? Does that resonate with your audience? What is the price point they're charging? Now, when you deal with some of these big influencers, if they want you to pay them a speaking fee or cover their travel costs, you got to ask a few questions. How many sponsors can I attract by having this influencer speak at events? Will I attract? How many ticket sales will I get? Is there a revenue share on the back end to revenue for events, so you can make your money through the revenue share? And will you be able to do some future events? Because if it's a one-off deal, then you really should make it based on the number. Or if it's a longer-term relationship play, you may be willing to take a financial loss in the short term so you can have the longer-term relationship, which will make you a lot more money. So you have to balance that based on the numbers, because some of these influencers want speaker fees of 10, 20, 50,000, some of the bigger names and A-list stars. So if you want those type of speakers, you have to judge that by how much revenue they're going to create for the event versus what they're actually be compensated for, to see if it's a good business decision for you. And that's one of the main things you want to really look at in that, especially when it comes to speaker selection. And then asking questions when you're having people sell from stage. Ask, what's the target market? What's the target audience? What are they charging for the coaching as well? Could be a big thing too, because your audience is used to paying for high-end coaching at 30, 50 grand, and you have someone paying 500, charge 500,000. They may not think there's enough value there. First, if your audience is used to paying 1,000 or 3,000, someone charging 40, 50,000, they may think that's too expensive. So you got to know the audience that you have and what they're paid for your own coaching or what they're paid for outside speakers in the past, because that's a big thing. And that will save you time, save you money. And what we're also going to cover is how to fill your events. And so you always want to look at that of the strategies of how to save. And one of the things that we've gone over the venue sponsor strategy, we've gone over how to reduce your meeting room expenses with the AV strategy and strategies to save on AV costs, which is owning your own equipment. Also, negotiate on the AV fee, see if you can get in the back end, or if the hotels want to discount some of the AV costs, depending on what you need and for how many days. And that's always going to have an impact on that. Now, one of the things you want to also ask is, we've covered is how to book big thought leaders, which is really through great relationship building, also through reaching out. You can reach out to thought leaders on LinkedIn. You can create relationships. You can create a podcast and interview them. You can create those relationships. They'll give you the opportunity to book these big thought leaders, so they'll come on and speak for free at events instead of paying a speaking fee for them. And we've gone over the criteria of what you need to do as far as when it comes to a speaking fee and how to evaluate that to make sure it's a good business decision for your business. Is it going to create enough revenue for you to justify that fee and to justify paying that? That's always what you got to look at in those in those situations. So one of the things we want to definitely talk about now is how to fill your events. And there's a few ways to do that. One of the great ways, most popular ways, is speak and sponsor other event organizers' events. Now, there's a couple of different styles of events. So if you're talking like your BNIs, your like tips, your networking groups, what that's going to look like is having a table, maybe pay a couple $100. You want to ask the organizer if you can get 2 to 5 minutes to speak in front of the group to give your power pitch, and then have a vendor table there so you can collect the information. You want to give away a free like gift. The Amazon gift cards are always really safe because anyone can buy anything on Amazon is what I use, unless you're promoting an event or you have tickets for the event and you want to give those away for free. That's a great thing as well. Now, another thing is speak and sponsor where it comes to either meetup groups or speaking on other people's stages where you're paying to get a certain amount of speaking time, like 30, 60 minutes, a vendor booth. Maybe you get so much social media exposure, you can make an offer and you have sales in the back of the room. That's another great way to increase because you're borrowing other people's audiences, because there's 3 ways. You borrow other people's audiences, the fastest way to grow. Growing your community organically, that takes time. Buying a community can be a little more expensive, but you can do it. So typically you want to borrow other people's audiences so you can grow and speak up on their stages so you can build your database. You want to then keep organically growing your community. And third, you can pay for an audience. But if you're going to pay for an audience, you got to make sure it's the right audience that fits with what you're trying to do. And that's really important. Now, you can use Eventbrite as another great way to market events because Eventbrite's very low cost, especially when starting out. Some people feel more comfortable registering an Eventbrite page than they do your website. So what I do is I offer both. I give people the option to register on a website. I also create an Eventbrite page. Now, just be aware on the settings on Eventbrite. You want to make sure you put in the cell number and make sure that sticks, because the default settings on Eventbrite is very simply name and email address. So if it doesn't take the cell number, you have no way of calling or text reminding people to show up to the event, which is a big thing. Because especially on like a free event, your show up rate will be anywhere from 30 to 50% of what your actual audience is. So if you have 60, you really have 20. If you have 100, you will have 30 or 50. If you have 200, you have 60 to 100 people that actually be at the event. But Eventbrite is a great low-cost way to market events and put your events out there. LinkedIn events is another great way to do that. LinkedIn allows you to invite your LinkedIn connections to do that. But you have to also be aware of LinkedIn events that some people treat that as a LinkedIn connection. So the key with that is when they accept the invitation to have you or someone on your team reach out to the person. If they have a phone number, call them, confirm they're actually going to attend your event. Don't assume just because they accept a LinkedIn event invitation they're going to attend your event. That does not mean they're going to attend your event. You have to do the legwork and call them and make sure they're going to attend, or have someone in your team designated to do reach outs and calls. And then for the people on LinkedIn that don't have phone numbers, you want to send them a message. Hey, thank you so much for accepting our LinkedIn event invitation. We want to confirm you attend the event. Please click the link to get your ticket today. You want to send something like that, which is really good. The next one is email marketing. Email marketing is important because this is your own database. And this is your own database because your own database is what you control 100%. That is your list. That's not social media. That's not LinkedIn. This is your list that your community that you built. So you want to make sure that you're always building your email database. You want to make sure that you're broadcasting out and sending messages to them and creating value for your email list. So you're growing that list, which gives you more influence when creating deals with different influencers and social media influencers, which is really important. Another great way is Facebook. Now, when it comes to building Facebook groups, there's Facebook groups, which is great. And you want to have a public group and a private group. The private group is usually for your paying coaching clients. The public group is more for everybody so they can get exposure. They'll see your videos. They'll see your social media posts. They'll see these different things that will make it really advantageous, which is a great way. So Facebook can be leveraged. You can also run Facebook ads, but you have to have enough ad budget and the right target and make sure you've drilled down on what you're going to, who's your ideal avatar customer, so you can get the type of return you want with the ads on Facebook and stuff. But it's a great way. Another strategy is Meetup. Meetup is a great way to grow your community because Meetup, you can have a Meetup group for like $12 to $15 a month. You have 3, you can have for like $30 a month, and then you can do 6 months, so a little under $100 for the basic plan. Meetup Pro is usually about $30 per group per month. But what you're doing Meetup is Meetup helps you build your community, because once you create your Meetup group, then within 3 days, Meetup will push it in the community and see you selected. And while you're pushing it, Meetup is also pushing it. So you're picking up members. It's growing your community, which is great. Now, another great thing is Instagram. Now, the key with Instagram is video. Now, you're usually on regular Instagram, you're limited to about a minute in video. If you use IGTV, you have about 15 minutes you can post on videos, which are longer. But just regular Instagram, your clips have to be a minute or less, or it'll be too long and left. But Instagram's all about video, live video, also photos, varying it up so you can get more likes and more followers, and that translates over time, into more clients and revenue. And that's some of the ways that you can fill your events. And another one that I haven't put on here is affiliate marketing, which is a big thing. Leveraging off other people's databases to help you build your database and events. Affiliate marketing is great because you can offer affiliate marketing like, hey, 35% commission on a ticket sale, or hey, if you get so many people there, you can be part of our affiliate program where we pay you 20-25% on any person that you refer to our coaching program. These are great ways to really build your list and also help you promote your events, which is what you need to do. Affiliate marketing is really effective in that way. If you have the right affiliate partners, and then sometimes you have to go through a few to find the right people that are going to help promote your event and take that event to the next level. So those are some real tips on how you can grow your events, how to promote your events. And there's a lot in getting your name out there, sponsoring other people's events, networking, also creating joint venture relationships. All these things are great tools that you can use to really grow your events and do that. And now, one of the things we're going to do is, let's see if you play right here, is a testimonial from HGTV's Amy. Amy, we worked with her on her event. We did a virtual event for Amy to help her. And I just want to tell you what Amy will say about us.
Hey everyone, I'm Amy Majuri, and I recently worked with event coach Jason Burke, and my experience in working with him was great. We ended up joining forces on a real estate investment event, and I was very pleased with his level of professionalism. And what I found was, aside from Jason having a great breadth of knowledge in his field, his attention to detail was never compromised. He took the time to understand his clients' needs and wants, and his approach in getting to know his clients on a personal level, plus his ability to understand the importance of holding us accountable, I feel is what sets us apart from others. It's what sets us apart from his competition. I felt like he had a very vested interest in the success of his clients, and he was there to hold my hand every single step of the way. And I'm just excited to work with him again in the near future. I have just found that Jason is a very articulate and polished professional. And thank you, Jason. I really appreciate your help.
You can see the star Amy from HGTV, and we worked for her as one of our clients. And that, so great. And so what I want to talk to you about is our Event Mastery Success Premier Coaching Program. And what I'm offering everyone today is a free success strategy session for 30 minutes. But I'll also go over our coaching program, which is Event Mastery Success Premier Coaching Program, is 6 months of coaching, bi-weekly coaching with me. You get access to our Facebook community, tickets to our Event Mastery Success and High Performance Success Summit events. And you get our workbook selection codes, how to keep your events on budget, how to fill your events, speaker selection, physical copy of my book, Become Big Star in Event Planning. If I unbundle this, it will be well over $10,000, but we're offering that for $1,997. And that is our coaching offer. And one of the things is we're here to help you be successful with your events. I've done over 200 live and virtual events, and I've seen everything from the good, the bad, and ugly. And we're here to coach you so you have the success you want with your events. Like I said, we are offering a free Event Mastery Success strategy call, which I will put in the calendar chat so you can book, so we can strategize of how we can help you be more successful, and then also help you become part of our community with the Event Mastery Success coaching program as well. So you definitely want to go to www.hpsuccess.com/event coaching. That's where you can sign up. I also put a link into my calendar in the chat feature here, because here we're all about helping you be more successful with your events. So whether you want to do a live event, a virtual event, we've done both. We understand the pitfalls and what you need to do with that, so you can be more successful in your business, in your life with these events.